What up, Bulls Nation? We've got a live CHGO Bulls podcast coming up for y'all right around the corner, kicking off a fresh week. We're talking conference finals matchups, the Nuggets and Celtics going home, plus a lot of trade chatter already going around about who might be in the lottery and looking to trade up and or down. Could the Bulls get involved? Next. What is that? What's going on? It was just to get
Katie to laugh.
Bulls Nation, welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bam. BAWL Sports, the queen of the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. What up, Katie?
Hi.
Happy Monday out there in Bulls Nation, everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We got some NBA action. We got WNBA kicking off.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Cubbies.
They swept them, right?
Crosstown Series sweep
Swept
up on the north
guys.
side.
I'm shocked.
The Sox, I believe I just saw, have the same record through this many games they did last year. So they're not worse.
Oh, yeah.
They're not better, but they're not worse.
We're not better, but not worse. We're right there, but we're not anywhere at all.
Yeah.
And that's the magic.
Yeah.
That's the plan. That's the secret right there. Tune in to CHGO White Sox with our guy Sean Anderson covering the squad, doing the Lord's work.
What a trooper.
Yes, he is, man.
Shout out to Grandmama's Flight School, Dysfunctional Phil, everybody hanging out in the chat. Hit that like button if you're hanging out with us. Goat, as you might have noticed, not here. Taking some well-deserved time off this week. But just because Goat's not here this week to do our shows with us does not mean you shouldn't be taking advantage of his incredible Die Hard draft guide.
Thanks.
That is available now, allchgo.com for diehards only. Him and our buddy Derek from over at PHLY Sixers collaborated on this incredibly thorough breakdown of any and all prospects you might be interested in for this upcoming NBA draft next month.
Yeah.
Just info upon info upon info, great analysis and insights. Katie just threw the link to it in the chat. So if you want to be diving deep into NBA draft coverage and content right now, check out that Die Hard draft guide made by the GOAT, available now.
That's right. Ankles deep.
That's right. Ankles.
Ankles deep.
The games are out, by the way.
They ain't getting put away.
Always.
Came back if I was 50 degrees.
I was
all week.
I was on the burst
excited.
fence today, but it just looked a little windy, a little chilly, maybe like rain. So
yeah, no, it's gonna be hoodies. I was very excited. You know, I love hoodies and shorts all day.
Always.
I'm very happy.
One more quick plug before we dive into our topics for the day. Coming up in a few weeks, we've got our second annual Cookout Classic CHGO golf tournament taking place on Friday, June 6th. This one is actually I was just telling you, Dave, the Village Links of Glen Ellen, which is my hometown. This is where I took golf lessons as a young lad. I will not be participating in this tournament because I was not good when taking said golf lessons as a child.
Now,
but it's a great time.
Now, somebody who doesn't know golf like that, what is a shotgun start?
I don't know. My guess would be you shotgun a beverage before you tee off on hole one.
Okay.
But maybe that's not right.
Okay.
That's I your way. That because I'm like, Friday on a golf course?
Yeah.
A little day drinking?
8 a.m.
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
If you're going to do something, freaking do it.
All right. Shout out to Sam Adams.
That's my educated guess, but I think it's wrong.
I think I actually like your guess, though. It sounds right.
Maybe it has multiple meanings, and some people do this shotgun, and then whatever the real part of the shotgun start is.
That's true. Yeah, if you're a golfer in the chat, let us know what a shotgun start is. I'm very curious to what that is because it just sounds violent and cool. Violent and cool at the same time. And it's probably something that might not be either. But cool for golfers.
That is what might draw me out to an actual golf course.
If they said we're shotgunning a beer at 8 a.m.
Yes.
Right here before we do anything.
Yeah.
That'll get you out there.
Just because it would be an adventure.
Fair point.
Like, if the beverages that I'm shotgunning are complimentary.
Even
more so.
Oh, come on now.
I don't, if it was like a shotgun per hole, that could get a little challenging by the end. I don't know if I could do that.
I don't know. I believe in you,
18
man.
holes, 9 holes shotgun every hole?
Yeah,
no problem.
Holes. Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
That would get rough.
But would you do it on the back 9? Or I'm just saying if you did your 9, are you going on the front 9 or the back 9 for your 9 beers?
Ooh. You know what? Honestly, I would alternate every other.
Ooh, okay.
Because if I just drank 9 beers in the first 9 holes, I would be miserable by the back 18 if I couldn't just have a couple more to get me through. But I wouldn't want to wait until the end.
Oh, Drew, is a tournament format where all groups of players tee off simultaneously from different holes on the course.
Thank you, Drewish.
Appreciate
for that golf education right there.
So everybody says 4 and goes.
But Drew also said he likes my shotgun.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So maybe they do both. Everybody starts from different holes and also shotguns before they tee off on the first one.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun time. You can sign up as an individual, a twosome, or a foursome. You can also sign up if you got a buddy or a couple of buddies who want to play with some of our CHGO personalities here. The CHGO Bears crew are auctioning themselves off essentially to be you could go play golf with Adam Hogue or Mark Carmen. I think Braggs has already been spoken for.
Oh yeah, they got that.
The People's Champ.
The People's Champ. Baby.
I think our guys Jay and Mario from Hawks are also participating. You can pair up with them if you want.
Yeah.
There's great giveaways and prizes for the contest holes, the winners of the scramble teams, plus lunch, drinks, and a ceremony after the round. So grab your ticket now. Grab some buddies who want to go out on a beautiful Friday morning, play some golf out in the suburbs.
Hey, man, Mario is a sneaky athlete, bro.
He is.
He does everything, and it's very low-key.
He just said he was a game-time decision for CHGO softball
That's what I'm saying.
Because I was just chatting to him about a minute ago. He sprained a couple of his fingers blocking a shot in his rec hockey league last night.
See what I mean? This dude is a sneaky athlete, bro.
He's an Iron Man.
Athlete. For real, bro. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Mario. All the wonderful things he does. Shout out CHGO Blackhawks. Make sure you're watching that as well.
Tune in, baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. So a couple thoughts on the playoffs before we dive into the trade talk. I see people getting their trade thoughts in the comments already. We'll get around to those. We saw 2 teams go home this weekend, Dave. Yeah. Celtics done, Nuggets done. Nuggets loses game 7. Celtics fail to force a game 7.
Yeah.
Of those 2 teams, who do you feel less worried about this offseason? Because people are talking about, is this the end? Do they finally trade Jaylen Brown? They're kind of going to go through a mulligan year if Tatum is out for a whole season with the Achilles. And meanwhile, people are saying, this Denver core 4, Jokic doesn't have enough help.
I think Boston doesn't have a choice. They're going to have to start over just because of the contracts and all the money and everything like that. It will be a different Boston team, whether they want to change it or not. So financially, it's going to have to happen. But I am definitely curious to watch the Denver Nuggets because, like you just said, that core 4. But listening to Joker talk about it at the podium, where he was like, "You think you can win with this core 4?" Well, we didn't, so the answer is no. All right, I'm gonna go drink beers for the rest of the day. Yo, man, that team is about to, I think, make some real straight up changes. Everything is based around Joker, so Braun, obviously the young guys will be there, like that. But guys like Michael Porter Jr., will be looked at. Guys like obviously Russell Westbrook will be looked at. I think they also look at Jamal Murray, because he plays well, but Jamal Murray's been hurt these past couple of seasons when they've had to have him. And this time he was sick.
Right.
But there's been something wrong each time, and they need him. They got to have him. And when you're that dependent on somebody, that's not really great. When it's a secondary player. Your star, of course, but when it's a secondary player, it's not really a super great thing, especially when they can't be there. So, yeah, man, I think they'll be looking into exploring all of that. They just got rid of their coach. They got rid of their GM. So, obviously, they're open for business in some kind of capacity.
It was also interesting to hear Aaron Gordon very concretely voice his support for Adelman in his Game 7 post-game press conference as, sort of an interim, very late season firing of Michael Malone. And then you wonder, are they going to look at a more permanent new hire?
Yeah.
Or just, let Adelman take a crack at the job next season. It sounds like Aaron Gordon. It's whatever vibes were wrong with the Nuggets down the stretch of the season, credit to them. Injuries, not as deep of a team as they were when they were champs 2 years ago. They still pushed a 68 win, right?
68, you got it. Yeah.
To 7 games.
Yeah.
and like stole a couple of them just because of their collective playoff mettle and the way that they know how to play in their system together. You got to give the Nuggets credit for managing to get that far when, they fired their coach and GM with 3 games left in the season, and people kind of wrote them off.
Yeah,
but,
as you probably would, you know, in that kind of situation. But I think it brought out the best in Nikola Jokic as well, as far as being a leader is concerned, because you saw him more. I saw him with more fire than I had ever seen him previously in his career. Not to say he's not a great player, with or without it. I'm just saying we saw it and the passion and like, no, this dude really does care out there on the floor. He's drawing up plays. He's on the sideline coaching to everybody where they need to go. This was new. I'd never seen him like this before. And I wonder if it was because they needed a voice. Adam is a good coach, but he's not somebody that's going to get on you like that, like Mike Malone would. Mike Malone, man, he will get on you. So Joker stepped into that role, and I thought he did a really good job.
Meanwhile, so we got the top 2 seeds in the East gone. We got a Knicks-Pacers conference finals, which those of us who are around for 90s basketball, it's like harkening back. It's like, MJ must be playing baseball right now?
He sucked.
But speaking of Rob, one of our regulars in the comments saying Sam Smith was just on with our guy Jamal from Bull Central, and Sam saying he thinks the East is more wide open, and any team in the middle could get that 6th seed. I tend to agree. Going to be based on health, most importantly. Yeah. Hold that thought. But just speaking of the fact that the East is wide open, what do you make of Knicks Pacers? I right now am leaning Pacers because the Knicks, whether it was Detroit or Boston, have not faced a team in these playoffs that plays as fast as Indiana does, and I think that the Knicks could get caught up a little bit.
Yeah, let me remove my total hatred for the New York Knicks in this opinion when I talk about this. Hey, sales guy Jim, with the shadow and everything. Well done, sir. Well done. But let me remove this hatred. While I talk about the logic of it. I've been talking about the Pacers from the beginning and just how good I think that they are.
True.
And, Matt, they play every single style that you want to play. Whatever you want to play, they can play that style. You want to grind it out? They got you. You want to run up and down? They got you. 3-point contest? They got you. You just want your stars to be stars? They got you. So the Pacers fit all that build and all that mold, and they're tough. I've watched them take great punches from a lot of teams in these playoffs, and they are still standing. They will get that lead down to 1 and then go on an 8-0 run, immediately. Like, it is really impressive to watch them play and to watch them think on the floor and just attack, guys. And they are really good defensively as well. They will wear you down, and you saw that throughout these other series that they played against these teams. They wore them down and ran them out the gym, so however you wanted it. So I think it fits well going against a Knicks team that is, gritty, tough, all that other kind of thing. I think it fits well. I'm not going to put it past the Knicks because they are a good team. Jalen Brunson is absolutely outstanding and tremendously clutch in a Tibbs MO, Matt. When they get down 10, 20 points, the game is not over. You have to get them down 40. Yeah. You have to get them down 30 because they will not stop coming. They are like zombies. They will continue to just attack and try to eat your young. That's how they roll out there. So be careful of the New York Knicks. They are definitely a great team. They deserve that respect. I hope they get swept. I don't want anything great to happen to them, and I don't want to see them in the finals. I'd rather gouge my eyes out. Yeah, the hate came back in.
I mean, whatever. The hate's there for both of you. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine on Saturday who's a Knicks fan, and I was like, I'm happy for you, buddy.
Yeah.
This is the first time that they're in the conference finals since Brunson's dad was on the team.
25 years.
25 years, a quarter century. Yeah. At least the Bulls had that one conference finals appearance more recently than that.
Who was the coach?
But like as a child of the 90s, a Bulls fan of the 90s, like I hate the Knicks and the Pacers.
Yes, correct.
Like Reggie's Pacers, screw you.
Yeah, screw you.
Patrick's Knicks, screw you too.
Screw you too.
So I'm not rooting for either of these teams in this conference finals. But what I'm hoping for is that it's just a like knockdown, drag out bloodbath that harkens back to the good old days.
Yes, but I damn sure I'm not rooting for the Knicks. That's the difference. No. They were throwing trash at people out there. Yeah. You see what they were doing to Brian Windhorst?
Trash at Brian Windhorst.
Come on, man.
What did Brian Windhorst ever do to you?
What Brian would do to you, bro? I ain't rooting for that, bro.
Yeah.
No.
And they were like throwing bags of trash at that one dude wearing a Halliburton jersey walking down the street.
And Halliburton buying him tickets.
Yeah.
Get him back in the game.
Oh, is that real?
Yeah, because Halliburton's a goon. All right, also.
Good for Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, shout out to him.
I said the same thing. I was with Sabine. We went to see a show on Saturday, and it was me and this other buddy. And say about and like, what? Like, come on, like Knicks. I was like, screw the Pacers. I was like, no, screw them both, but screw the Knicks more.
Yeah, screw the Knicks
like,
more.
That's as a Bulls fan, I think that's the answer.
That's the fair answer.
We got to knock out a couple quick ads. When we come back on the other side, just another thought or two. I did want to get to that parity in the NBA stuff that Rob was just talking about in the comments.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to the trade talk that may involve some Coby White. Hit the like button if you're hanging out with us. We'll be right back.
Screw you, Knicks.
Today's show brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers right now can get $150 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. And it doesn't matter if that $5 bet hits or misses, because you're going to see the $150 in bonus bets hit your account either way as soon as that bet is finalized. Plus, if you're watching these NBA playoffs on the edge of your seat like we are with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 20 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download that app, and again, be sure to use that promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. The best part about those bonus bets, unlike a lot of other bettors and sports betting apps these days that restrict how you can use those bonus bets, when you can use those bonus bets, Bet365 says you can use those on just about anything. Spreads, totals, players, props, futures, and more. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and older if you or someone you know has a gambling problem. Crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only.
Right.com, y'all. If you've ever tried to buy a home, get a loan, or just deal with money stuff in general, you know it can be a lot. That's why we got to tell you about the Rate app. And seriously, ladies and gentlemen, it is a game changer. You can get pre-approved for a mortgage in minutes without the need to jump through millions of hoops, thousands of hoops, or just the hoops in general. You can watch them, not jump through them with the Rate app, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're thinking about a home equity loan or a personal loan, you can secure one in under 15 days. Woo. That is amazing. The Rate app also helps you find the best homeowners and auto insurance based on what you actually need. So none of that extra stuff these insurance companies be trying to ask you to get. Oh, no, you got that tire insurance on that right there? Is that a thing? Yeah, it's a thing this year. I promise you, $65 extra. No, they're going to get you the stuff that you need, and that is what's awesome. And they've also added over 800 free wellness videos to their app. So stuff like meditation, breathing exercises, stretching, basically tools that can help you feel better mentally and physically for your brain and your mind too. So if you're stressed out about that loan or just life in general or that mortgage, just let the Rate app handle it. And once you got that covered, hit one of those free wellness videos to chill the heck out. Download the Rate app when today. You can do this, ladies and gentlemen. See that thing? Scan it. You like it? It's awesome. The Rate app. Yeah. I like you very much.
Spooky. Rolling along CHGO Bulls on a Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us, y'all. If you are hanging out in that YouTube chat, hit the like button. Do it now.
Yeah.
Vote in the poll, too. I want to know the results. It is time for Taking the Temp. Brought to you by our friends at Four Seasons. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit Four Seasons HeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's Four Seasons HeatingCooling.com. So, Dave, as we take the temp of these NBA playoffs, with the exits of the Warriors, Nuggets, and Celtics in their respective second-round series, we now, as of yesterday afternoon's Nuggets loss, know for the 7th consecutive year, we will have a different NBA champion crowned at the end of the season.
Nuts.
Raptors in 19, Lakers in 20.
Come on.
Bucks in 21, Warriors 22, Nuggets 23, Celtics 24, TBD in 25.
Yeah.
If it's the Pacers or the Wolves, we will have a first-time ever NBA champion.
Crazy.
For the Thunder, it'll be the first time they've won a chip since they switched from being the Seattle Seahawks Sonics to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the other team of the Final Four, the Knicks, we all know, would be their first chip since 73.
Clyde.
Simultaneously, like some people say, the NBA is this, the NBA is that. I personally love how much parity exists in the league right now.
You love it. Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Like I'm a child of the Dynasties era.
Yeah.
Lakers versus Celtics, and then a little mini Pistons one, and then Bulls for a decade, and then Lakers again, and then it was like Steph's Warriors versus whichever LeBron team plays for, back and forth for a zillion years.
Correct.
The last 7 years, 7 different champions, I think is great for the league.
Yeah.
They might be worried about ratings in the finals if it's, like Pacers, Wolves or whatever. But like, as a true NBA fan, I just want to see the 2 best teams play each other in the finals. I do think it's interesting when you see how much parity exists in the league right now. And as Rob was just talking, Sam Smith was talking on our pal Jamal show about like, hey, that could mean that 6th seed in the East is up for grabs next year. There are questions about the Cavs blowing things up. Sure. There's questions about the Celtics. The East is wide open.
Sure.
I think it is fascinating to think about, but also just an utter, like, ugly shining light on how pitiful the Bulls have been in that stretch of 7 parity-filled years in the NBA.
Okay.
The league is wide open over the last 7 years. 7 different champions. And in that span of the greatest parity the league has ever seen, we have never seen 7 different champions in 7 consecutive years ever before. In NBA history, this has never happened before. And in that 7-year span of total parity in the NBA, the Bulls have 1 playoff win. In the East, the weaker conference. So as we talk about whether or not it's good for the league to have this much parity, I think it is. Simultaneously, as a Bulls fan, you just got to sit here and say, guys, we got 3 small market teams in the Final 4.
Yeah.
What do they have that you don't when it comes to building a winner and what you're capable of building with the resources you have available? How is the league and the East this wide open? And Bulls fans are sitting here year after year twiddling our thumbs saying, oh, maybe we'll go to the play-in tournament and get lucky this time. I think it's inexcusable. It's failure for the league to be this wide open, the East especially, and for the Bulls in that span of years to have zilch to show for it.
Wow. Very well said. I agree with you. Like, teams having that kind of parity and everybody, the championship is up for grabs every single year. It's something definitely I'm not used to, as you mentioned, as a person that grew up with dynasties. So every single year, everybody has a true, legitimate shot to win a championship. We'll see what OKC does. We'll see how it goes, for other things. Because I think out of all these teams, OKC has the best chance of being an actual kind of dynasty, just of how brilliantly they are built, and they can still build through the draft and all the other brilliant stuff that they can do, and SGA and all these other things. I think that's true, man. I think in the league now, where you have this parity, it shines a light on the futility and the mediocrity of teams like the Bulls, who, by, I guess, definition, are supposed to be that team that is always in the mix. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Bulls. Yeah, it's supposed to be in the mix. It's what we do. We get in there and then we grind it out and hustle. No. We go home. That's what we do. We go home in these past 7 years. And that is a very, very sad reality that you're bringing to light right now. But the light needs to be shown on this. Like, the trash that has been going on for the past 7 years, it's not acceptable. And the fact that you have an opportunity, everybody, it's a pretty open, thing for everyone to get a chance to get in there. As you just said, that 6th seed is wide open. Everybody's got a shot to get in it. And the fact that most Bulls fans don't feel like the Bulls have that shot to get in it is a problem.
Yeah.
Year after year after year, they feel this way. It's like, oh, okay, play-in tournament is all we kind of think about and all we kind of can hope for this team. In a time where the East is not great, I mean, just completely not great, and you're still hovering in that mediocrity where you can't get over 500. I think they've had during AK's senior, you said 7 years not going. Mm-hmm. In his 6 years, I believe that they've had one winning season. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that light is definitely shown on the Chicago Bulls because teams like Washington, Charlotte, those kind of teams, they're not great. Going in, these aren't great teams. Mm-hmm. The Bulls are supposed to be that team that, they can get there to elevate. At least that's what they're trying to sell to everyone. That, we can get there. We can be that squad. We can compete. We can be in this. And you're nowhere near close. You're nowhere near close. Your record continues to indicate it. The teams that continually beat you down continue to indicate it. And it's not that you can just point to a dynasty team, Matt, and say, well, we're not on their level. Of course not. We're not on this team's level. They win it every single year. It's not like that, bro. It is not like that. You just continue to get beat down. And that's why I pointed out why divisions are still important to me, because everybody in the Bulls division, Matt, finished over 500, and everybody in that Bulls division went to the playoffs. All of them except one team. Cavs,
Pacers.
Yep.
Pistons.
Come on.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them were there. You know what I mean? So
maybe only of that group, the Bucks, if they do trade Giannis because Giannis wants out, are looking at taking a step back in the foreseeable future.
And that is not even something that, you know what I'm saying, is a given. Because they could make a really awesome trade and get some real young talent in and continue building and doing what they're supposed to be doing as a team that's trying to win and not just be comfortable sitting in the middle. So, yeah, man, they are hanging their hat, you know what I'm saying, on just being there or being mentioned or being in the mix. And it's not good enough. And I'm glad you're shining a light on this, man. It's not good enough when everything is so wide open to you. Nothing is closed off and locked off. And you still can't succeed.
And that's the thing. Like, you might believe in the East, especially if a couple of these currently top-tier teams take a step back, and even if they don't, that the mid-tier of the East is still wide open.
Yeah.
And, hey, the Bulls, they had 39 wins this season.
Hey.
How many more do you need to be in play for that 6th seed and avoiding the play-in tournament? To me, I think it's a moot point and a question that doesn't even require an answer because – yes, AK may have loved hearing what his old pal Joker had to say at the Game 7 podium about we weren't a deep enough team. Look at all the teams that are still alive. They're deep teams. Sure. And AK saying, aha, see? 9 to 10 good players. This is what we need.
Yeah.
What do you need on top of a deep roster? A superstar player to lead them.
Yeah.
Because who's remaining?
I'm sorry, Matt. Where did you say he had that press conference? After what?
After his team lost Game 7 of the second round of the playoffs? Yeah.
Yeah, that part right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the end of the season.
No.
The end of the playoffs for them.
Right.
There's a difference.
The 3-time MVP?
That guy.
Who just lost to this season's presumptive MVP?
Yeah.
And look, they may, even up until Game 1, jump ball be perceived now and for the past several seasons as up-and-coming stars.
Yeah.
But you talk about Halliburton and Brunson.
It's a rivalry being created right there in front of your face.
And the two most clutch players in the NBA playoffs through the first 2 rounds. And you need a superstar player or a couple of star players,
man.
Tatum and Brown, last year's champions.
There you go.
To be in the picture. So I don't want to hear about how wide open the East is if the Bulls' plan is to go from being the 9th seed to the 6th.
Yeah.
Because good luck in round 1.
Yeah.
Whoever you're facing, if you still don't have that franchise player.
Good luck in round 1. And even we haven't even mentioned Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? We haven't even talked about them. You know what I'm saying? And what they're doing.
Oh, number 1 pick, Anthony Edwards? Yeah. That team?
He's the thing. That defensive, most defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert down there. See that guy? Oh, yeah. He's good. He's not bad. Yeah, you need stars. This is a star league more than any league ever. This is a star league, man, and you can't get anywhere without them. You can have the 9 or 10 guys, but they must be built around a star. Somebody has to come to fruition and be that star. Could it be Giddey? Could it be Coby? The point is we're asking these questions still. You know? Like, we don't know. Could it be Modest? I don't know. You know, there's Travis saying Giddey is our star. If he's your star.
With a crying face emoji.
Don't
leave that part out.
But I'm just saying, if he's the star, this is what you're getting. You know what I mean? See where you're at. See where you're at, man. Just see where you're at.
It's okay, Dave. We're about to sign him for 5 years, 150. It's going to be great.
It's true. Man, he's got a lot to prove, man. He's got a lot to prove next year. We're going to see if he can do it. But
meanwhile, Tony just said, don't overpay for average players. But that's what the Bulls do.
Man, they got a lot of stuff they have to prove because this is not acceptable, man. This is the Bull. This is not acceptable to be this ass year after year. It's just not acceptable, and you came in telling us it wasn't acceptable, and you said we accept it.
It depends on who you ask, Dave.
Okay.
Who it is acceptable to? The people who own this team. That one. The people who they employ to make basketball decisions for this team because they know their jobs are safe so long as they're and the place is full. And the Bulls fans who filled that place for their 9 versus 10 playing game.
Yeah.
If those 3 factors are still where they are, then it is acceptable. some of us Bulls fans who would like to see a championship sometime again before we die would call that unacceptable.
Lonzo was the star they actually had. The star for the Bulls.
20 minutes? Come on now, man.
He can't be the star.
No.
He can't be the star.
No, he cannot.
That's like saying Caruso's the star. Then, dude. Great role player.
Did you see
Incredible.
Caruso's defense?
Oh, my God. Outstanding. I mean, he was a terror on the court, man.
He's like that little kid Dash from The Incredibles.
yes. He was everywhere. Yes, that is excellent. Yes, he was everywhere, man. What a just incredible defender that they got on their hands, man. Congratulations to Alex Caruso.
Truly. I didn't have Caruso-shaped tears hitting my pillow last night. Not at all. We got a couple more ads. We'll come back and dive into some NBA draft pick trade talk on the other side. Hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button, she said.
Today's show brought to you by Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. What is Sunnyside? I'll tell you, it's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. A place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer, and summer is on the way. What are some of the amazing features that make Sunnyside so awesome? It's your one-stop shop for all of your cannabis needs because they have an expertly curated menu with over 100 different strains to choose from. Triple digis. Plus, they offer easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Make your selections online. Show up to the store. Wait in a short line. Moves fast. They got a great staff to keep things moving in there. Get in, get out, get on your way. Sunnyside, if you're starting out, has expert guidance from their well-trained and knowledgeable staff to help you make selections from brands they know you'll love, like Good News and Mindy's, plus Cresco and FloraCal. Even if you're a pro, they have some great ideas and tips for you that you probably haven't heard yet or tried yet. Again, 100 different strains to choose from, plus new strains added to their menu on a daily basis. Check out the Wellness Advisors Staff Picks collection if you're looking for something new. Visit Sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including not one, not two, but 3 first purchases getting 50% off. 50. That's half. How many, Dave?
Half.
Eddie.
Half, Eddie.
Just use that promo code HICHGO when you check out to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 and older and Illinois Med card holders.
I wonder what's coming to me. Empire today, just like your favorite team, floors. No matter what. It's like if everything needs that home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. Why? Because they have flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals whose focus is on flooring every single day. Now, we've all been to those big old box stores out there. You know, Matt Peck had to step out the house on a Saturday after he was making another beer run to go sit on the patio. He said, let me hit the big box store because there's some other stuff I need to get also as well. Oh, snap. I'm in here. Let me look at these floors, too, because they got me a smooth condo, and I want to get my floors nice and right. Doosh. Hey, no! He is about to be biffed. And man said, get away from me, BF. Get away from me. But sir, you're in the floor department. I'm here to help you do the floor. Okay, can you tell me about the texture or anything about it? Oh, no, you called my bluff. I don't know anything because I'm 16 years old and I don't know floors and I work in a big box store. Don't get biffed. Don't do it. Stay at home. Get that shop at home convenience that only comes with the awesome people at Empire. They live and breathe flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame. Pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks with your furniture in your house. With Empire Today, you get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Does that work for you? I think it will. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, that's y'all. You can receive a $350 discount when using that promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard me right. $350 discount with that code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/CHGO for full details. 588-2 300 Peck
Empire
today.
Boo-boo. Rolling along, CHGO Bulls on a Monday. Hit that like button if you're hanging out with us. Liam Pato shout out in the comments said, "Oh gosh, I missed so many streams, I forgot to hit the like button."
Yes.
Well, that's why we remind you.
We remind you.
Hit the like.
And we try to save you as well.
Always. Save you from Biff.
Yes.
Save you from missing out on the joy of hitting the like button. Yes, Katie.
Save you from Katie. That's what she's saying. That's the safety I was going for right there.
Speaking of those comments, shout out to our pal Michael Scott's Dunder Mifflin Fun Run, who threw us a super chat saying, 1, hit the like.
Yeah.
Yes, do. 2, open easy East. The Bulls have 1 win in a decade. Is it 2 words? Carry your eyes off. 3, if Coby and P will for the 3rd pick, I say yes. In regard to our question of, could the Bulls maybe send Coby to Philly to trade up in this draft? Apparently only if Patrick also gets sent away. That's your stipulation. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Good luck convincing Philly. Maybe good luck convincing Philly that what they want for that number 3 pick is Coby White. We will get to that, but let's just start here, Dave. Sure. A few different outlets over the last couple of days have talked about, as we are now about a month removed, a little more than a month removed from the NBA draft next month, which teams might be looking to offer up their picks high up in the lottery, which teams might be looking to jump up in the draft order on draft night. The Bulls at 12. Could they be a team interested in jumping up if they saw somebody at last week's NBA Combine who said, that's our guy, we need our guy, what will it take to get our guy?
Right.
The first reports of a team interested in maybe moving down seem to be Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's start here. This was Sam Vecini of The Athletic. I don't know if you have that clip that you want to throw up. Katie, there we go. Ultimately, I wonder if the best option might be to see if there's a team that wants to jump ahead, the Hornets, Jazz, and New Orleans, to take a flyer on Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe, for instance. Would Brooklyn look at a deal in the ballpark of Cam Johnson, numbers 19 and 27 picks, for Oubre, Drummond, and the number 3 pick? For the Sixers, they'd get a player who helps them a lot the next 2 years in Cam Johnson. Then they would get 2 later firsts this year to be able to potentially get a wing and a backup big man to fill the holes on their roster. He said that after saying that it is expected the Sixers will listen openly to offers for that number 3 pick. There were also some stuff in that report that there might be some contradictions already within the Sixers front office on Ace Bailey and whether they are for Ace Bailey or not. And that can open up all kinds of things. If we can't come to a consensus on who we want with a number 3 pick, then maybe we are much more inclined to listen to offers for the number 3 pick.
Yeah.
And maybe it's also about finding a way to stay competitive in the, again, wide open Eastern Conference, even if we have to deal with how many games can Embiid play next year? Yeah. How healthy will Paul George be? Do we want to look to move Paul George? Is Paul George involved potentially in a trade where we also send away the number 3 pick because we want to get off of Paul George's contract but stay competitive? A lot of different wrinkles, a lot of different ways this could go. But first question, when you hear a hypothetical deal like that of what it would take to get the number 3 pick from Philly, Cam Johnson, good player, young player, kind of entering prime player, and 2 late firsts, and then you try to compare that to what the Bulls could offer. Coby White, Cam Johnson, I would say comparable players.
Yeah, Kobe's better
in value. Maybe Coby has a little bit of an edge there.
Yeah.
Cam Johnson, however, is under contract for 2 more years, a bit pricier than Kobe's current deal. Coby is due $12 million next season, and Johnson 20 and then 22.
Okay,
a lot of variables. Do you think that the Bulls could offer something, Coby White and fill in the blank, that would get Philly interested? And if so, would you do it?
Well, yeah, you know how I feel about what the Bulls should do. So, yes, I think everybody is on the table, except for Modest. There would have to be a special call to the special red phone for Modest. I'll listen, but it's going to have to be a special red phone call. The Bulls don't have the cachet, the draft picks and things like that to back up a player like that. And they don't have, let's say, the star or the budding star that you can go ahead and say, hey, Philly, here it is. This is what we got. Now, the difference in that is the Nets, obviously Cam Johnson is kind of a role player, but they got the picks, and walking away with 2 of those picks to move down and still getting a player that kind of fits into your system really nicely, because Cam Johnson would be awesome in that offense that they run. He would make Joel Embiid's life much easier and makes Maxey's life much easier, just having that spot-up shooter threat that you have to worry about, that length and that size. Yeah, it works. And I get 2 picks on top of that. That's a big thing. What do the Bulls have to kind of counter that? Well, you're going to have multiple players. Like, that's what it's going to have to be. So you're going to have to start with your best foot forward. You're going to have to ask the questions about Coby White. Obviously, the Bulls have made their what they feel about Josh Giddey known. He's going to get this contract. So I'm taking Josh Giddey out of this equation. But for me, yeah, everybody's on there.
Right.
But I'll take him out the equation.
That's why we're talking about Coby White's name right now.
Yes, exactly. So I'll take him out the equation. So if you're saying Coby, you're going to have to look at then Ayo. You're going to have to look at, you'll even ask a question about Vooch, just to ask. I'm sure they don't want him, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. And Vooch probably doesn't want to go there to be a backup center to Embiid. He wants to go somewhere where he can have a nice role.
Might not be a backup on, most nights.
That's a very fair point. But he's going to be healthier this season. We'll see. We hope. But, yeah, Vooch would be in the conversation. Whatever the Bulls feel is their best player or their best players is the package that you're going to have to put together. And then I would toss in just another little player, somebody like, a Patrick Williams, or just somebody, Devon Carter, or anybody. You would look at those kind of things. But they are in such a tough bind, in a tough situation to make these kind of trades, Matt, because they are not going to decimate their team to give it up to try to get a number 3 pick. AK has made it known he's not a huge draft guy. He likes drafting a little later in those rounds. He's not going to give it up for a number 3 pick to move up there. He likes to try to sneak, and you guys weren't looking at this guy, were you? Well, there's a reason. But he likes trying to do those things. So I don't see him, Matt, trying to move up in the draft. But even if he wanted to, it would be truly, truly difficult for the Bulls, because they would have to decimate their whole roster, which they have shown that they really like and they want to continue to build with. So it's just it'd be difficult to offer that, but that's the offer it has to be. It has to start with Coby White. It has to.
Counterpoint, I don't necessarily think it would have to decimate the Bulls roster if you're talking about what other pieces, players-wise, you're throwing in.
Okay.
Because I think if I'm Daryl Morey, he is going to want to add good talent that can help him stay competitive now, but also help his stockpile for the post-Embiid Paul George era, whenever that starts. And it might start sooner than he wants to admit.
That's fair.
If that's the case, the Bulls have control of all of their future draft capital right now. The Bulls could theoretically attach draft pick or picks to Coby White to say, here, we'll take your number 3 pick. We'll take, equalizing salary back. It was Drummond and Oubre mentioned in this example from Sam Vecini. They collectively would, basically balance out. If it's just Coby White and just Coby White, their contract collectively would match up with his nicely. And then do the Bulls want to give up draft capital along with Coby to move up 9 spots to, instead of taking who's falling in your lap at 12, taking, is it because you really want Ace Bailey? Because the Bulls theoretically could trade a future first, maybe with protections on it, maybe a future first swap. Yeah. We know AK loves throwing out second-round picks like he's a friendly neighbor on Halloween night.
Who wants candy?
You got a second, and you got a second. But if I'm running this thing, I do think they need to explore getting value for Coby White now.
Yeah.
In a trade.
Yeah.
Because your other option is paying Josh Giddey a lot of money now, paying Coby White a lot of money a year from now.
He's going to get paid.
And where does that team top out if they're your 2 best players?
Ooh, that's the question. That's the question right there, Matt. And we don't know that answer, but we're going to find out next year.
So it's like, do you want to get a couple of picks, maybe a first and a second for Coby, or do you want to get the number 3 pick in this year's draft and give up draft assets to get that 1 pick that's higher up that you might really want?
They don't value the assets of the draft, and the assets aren't as sexy as a team like the Nets, who are losing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not as attractive for a team that you know is trying to be in the middle than it is for a team that you know is like, listen, we'll just suck. Like, we have no problem with it.
That's our plan.
That's our plan.
That's our motto.
We're rolling with it.
We got to knock out a couple more ads real quick. We'll come back and continue this conversation.
I do got one more thing to say on
Joe,
this
plenty more things.
Yeah.
We also got Jonathan Gavoni throwing his hat into the Sixer Trade Talk ring. So we'll talk about that too. Next, hit the like.
Yeah.
Ray. Today's show brought to you by Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. New vehicles in store now, and this is your chance to score a great deal during the Employee Pricing Plus sales event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory on new Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram vehicles. And right now, you can lease the new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE only for $245 a month. For 24 months. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Deals on deals. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. Plus, since they prioritize affordability, you know you won't overpay for the vehicle you need. And with that beautiful raised price promise, you can shop confidently knowing that there will be no add-ons, no hidden fees, no extra this, no extra that, ever. The price you see is the price you pay. Plus, Ray and his team will do everything they can to find you even more savings once you walk through the door. So go check out our partner today to shop one of Chicago area's largest inventories and find the right vehicle for you. Don't miss out on the Employee Pricing Plus sales event for huge savings on the Jeep Grand Cherokee. For more info, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake, or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since when?
1963.
That's right.
Hey, you know what rhymes with thray? K-Tay.
Hey!
Katie, what time is it?
Game time hoot.
It's in the center of a bag. Ooh. Hoot. Little cayenne pepper right there on there for you people.
Sriracha.
Yes. Oh, shout out. Shout out to the king. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks, y'all. And it makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams easier than ever. Well, how is that? Curation makes it easier, y'all, to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever you want to go see. Save money on it with Game Time. Because you know they got that all-in pricing. You know they got that lowest price guarantee. You know they got that Game Time ticket coverage, which comes with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. But they got the Peck and Big Dave favorites. The seat views is the first thing we're going to and looking at when we're going out to one of these concerts and venues. Where can we sit? Where can I stretch out the dogs? Where can I buy some dogs? Means hot dogs. Where can I get some of the brewskis? Where in the vicinity? I'm going to need two to be in the vicinity of where I'm going to be sitting.
Bar here, bar here.
He understands. Where's the bathroom? Because I'm going to need that if I'm going to be in that vicinity over there with the beers. I'm going to need the bathroom right there. And most importantly, where is the exit? Find it. Show it to me. I can see it on Game Time using that app. So take that guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app. Create account and go CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply, terms apply.
I said CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, terms apply. Download Game Time today. Because Matt Extra D Voice back. What time is it?
Why is there a demon in your soul that just came out?
Because the Bulls are junk, Katie. That's why.
Because terms apply.
Terms apply on those Bulls tickets.
Yes, they do.
Don't buy them.
You didn't miss anything, Liam, but just some awesome ad reads. I hope you heard them.
That's right. Rolling along. Shout out to everybody hanging out with us in that YouTube chat. Hit the like button if you haven't done it now. Books and the chat asking a good question. Why would the Sixers go for Coby? Why would the Sixers go for Coby, giving up their number 3 pick when they got Tyrese Maxey? Fair question. That is another wrinkle here. They just signed Maxey. This year was the first year of his 5-year deal worth over $200 million.
Yes.
But even still, when you look ahead, the final year of that deal for Maxey, 28-29, only $46 million. which I know, like only 40. But no, when you're talking about the max contracts that are new, even beyond him signing that one, a year ago, we're getting into the 60 mils for and 1 year. Mm-hmm. As the salary cap continues to increase, that Maxey contract won't look so bad.
Yeah.
It's the Embiid and Paul George contracts right now that are the troublesome ones for Philly. If Embiid and George aren't healthy and productive enough to keep Philly a contender in the East.
Yeah.
So, you got Maxey. What's to say you don't also want Coby White?
You need help. You're going to need that help.
Multiple guards who can score.
Yeah.
Turns out, useful thing to have.
Yeah, it's a thing. Especially, and that's the point right there, I think, Matt, is the Paul George and Joel Embiid equation of it. Because you cannot put them down for 60-plus games going forward in their career. They're just older. They've shown that they're, going to get injured within this time frame right now. So Maxey will just be out there kind of by himself, and you're going to have a losing season. They don't want to put themselves in that position anymore. So that's why you can go get a guy like Coby White. Because, dude, you're saying why would they need him or anything like that? Think about it. Think about Coby and Maxey together. That is a vicious backcourt, man. Like, you are scoring. You are getting buckets. You got two dudes on your squad that can both drop 40. Two guys on your team that can both drop 40. That is going to help you, especially if Embiid is not going to be there, especially if Paul George is not going to be there. We don't know. They have been bitten by an injury bug that has been crazy. So you want to have good players all around you just in case, And I think it just works out. It could work out really well. Even if it was just, hey, man, I will handle it in this first quarter. You can handle it in that third quarter. They can figure it out. Nick Nurse is a really excellent coach to figure those things out. But, yeah, getting more talent is never a bad thing. And I don't think that they get in each other's kind of way. I think they can find a way to kind of just play with each other, especially if Embiid and Paul George are not going to be there as far as the future is concerned.
Yeah. DJ, a.k.a. JR, also pointing out in the comments they have Jared McCain as well.
He's nice. Nice young player.
Great rookie campaign going before the injury. Nice young player.
He's coming off the bench.
Yeah. Okay, so the other part of some NBA whispers going around that we wanted to throw into this combo came courtesy of Jonathan Givony in the latest ESPN mock draft that came post-Combine week with all the scuttlebutt going on in the whole NBA media world descending upon Chicago. So, Katie, if you have that excerpt from Givony, who said some teams expect the Sixers to be active in trade conversations with names such as Kevin Durant, and Lauri Markkanen, our pal, as potential targets and packages that could include Paul George and that number 3 pick. Ooh. Sixers Prezi of basketball ops, Daryl Morey, has made a career of being active and aggressive on the trade front, but historically it's rare to see a top 3 pick being traded. Adding a young, talented prospect could be appealing as a reset to the team's timeline, offering long-term hope among Embiid's injury concerns and George's significant contract, which might not age well.
It's not. It's not going to age well.
So that is the other interesting piece of this. Does Daryl Morey want a bigger fish if he is going to use the trade night leading up to trade night window, or I'm sorry, draft night leading up to draft night window as potential trade dealings to go out there and make some crazy Daryl Morey scale move where he moves one of Joel Embiid or Paul George and says, hey, Kevin Durant, you're ready for a divorce from the Suns? Let's figure something out.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what the Lowry situation is in Utah with everything they got going on. Obviously, they're disappointed with the lottery results. Sure. They got a couple of interesting young pieces, but that team is not going anywhere anytime soon, and they're not being led there by Lauri Markkanen, who's a star player in his prime.
Yeah, he is.
But so, like, that begs the question, if there is a scenario where Morey is saying, I'm offering up the number 3 pick, but it has Paul George attached to it. If those are the parameters that Morey is willing to discuss when talking about offering out the number 3 pick, personally as a Bulls fan, if I'm in charge, I'm not interested. I like
because of the Paul George.
Paul George's remaining contract, $51.5 million next year, $54 the year after that, and then a $56.5 million player option the year after that. That's a lot of money.
A lot of money
for a 36, 37, 38-year-old Paul George.
I honestly think, Matt, it just depends on what team is vying for this. And it could be, hey, Paul George, I don't need you to be that kind of Paul George anymore. So don't, just keep doing your podcast, but kind of show up when I need you, you know what I'm saying, to have those moments. Because that's what you kind of get from a guy like Paul George right about now, is you just want him to show up in those moments and not be super injured in that way. So I just think it really does depend on the team that is going to be vying for this kind of thing, because they can say, you know what, I can absorb Paul George. We got the money to do that. We got a nice team that might be trying to make a little mini run or something like that. And Paul George, if you're looking at it that way, could be a nice piece. I always look at teams like the Lakers when I think of this kind of stuff. Yeah. This is the teams I always think of. So they are always in the mix for me in these kind of situations, because now it's about building around Luka and those kind of guys. You're going to need help in doing that. So there's always room for a talent like Paul George. It's just about what you need from that talent. And that's what I think it just really depends on, Matt.
Yeah, it does. I think you're right as far as some of the different factors that the Sixers would be weighing there. Mm-hmm. I would have a tough time getting on board with the Paul George idea. The other part of it is, who are you trading up for? That's the other interesting question that you want to talk about, people in the comments are talking about. Because somebody, I think, Philip Watson just said trade Coby, draft Ace Bailey. Yeah. Somebody else, who was just saying it, Force Within saying maybe, I don't know about trading up to number 3 for Ace Bailey, but trade up for Kaman Malawach. That's something I'd be interested in. Paul also agreeing trading for Malawach makes sense. Here's my 2 cents again, then toss it to you. Do I like the idea of the Bulls trading Coby White to the Sixers at 3, or San Antonio at 2? Just hypothetically, I know the Spurs got their own stuff going on. They wouldn't. Sure. But would I trade Coby to trade up in the draft to then draft Ace Bailey, assuming it goes Cooper, Dylan Harper? Yeah, which I think everybody agrees is what's going to happen.
Obviously,
I would not do that for Ace Bailey.
Not a fan.
I'm not sold.
Okay.
Which makes me even less enthused about trading up at all in this draft class, because I am more of a believer right now based on what I've watched. And I know everybody knocks him for his size, but I love VJ Edgecombe. I think he's a talent. I think he's one of the few who could be a lethal player in this league despite his size. Yeah. There are examples, even in today's modern NBA, of guys that size who can be very good players. You have to deal with hiding them on defense and whatever, but I like him. I also really like Trey Johnson. Love Trey Johnson. Dude's a bucket getter. Man. And there are more questions for me that still linger about Ace Bailey than definitely Trey Johnson. And I could weigh my questions about Bailey's readiness for the NBA versus how much of a project he is, and the size thing with Edgecombe. But all that to say, I don't love the idea of the Bulls giving up an asset to move up if those are the guys you're considering drafting, and giving up an asset to trade up to draft.
I am definitely an Ace Bailey guy.
I know you.
I really like Ace Bailey. Even when I was at the Combine, Flex, with Will to Go Gottlieb, I would talk to writers, and I would ask them their opinion on Ace Bailey, and they would all say, man, like, he's totally talented, but he takes really bad shots. And then they would pause and say, but he makes them. Like, that's it. Like, yes, he's taking bad shots, but they're going in at a pretty high clip. Like, and for me, that's star stuff, because he's not doing what is the normal kind of thing. I really like Ace Bailey and think he's really talented. But what I wanted to say, Matt, was the Sixers saying they are open for business on the number 3 pick is an indictment on Ace Bailey, more so than it is VJ Edgecombe. Because coming in, Matt, you knew what it was. It was Cooper, it was Dylan, it was Ace. However way you wanted to do. We knew who 1 was, but 2 and 3 could have flipped, whatever. But that was it. As it's going on in the past month or so, it's just really declined for him. Even at the Combine, it really declined for that young man. And a team like the Sixers, who could use a dude like Ace Bailey in their lineup, because you brought up Cam Johnson as another guy, like, better shooter, you know what I'm saying, like that for sure. But that size and that creativity, Ace Bailey definitely has that. So for them to say, nah, we'll kick the tires on some trades instead, for me, is a big indictment on what these guys around the league feel about a player like Ace Bailey, man. So this just makes me more curious about where he goes in the draft. Does he fall? Does he go down to like the number 5, 6 or something like that? Or does the team make this trade and move up, and take him? That could definitely be the case. But it's just not a good situation right now for my man Ace Bailey. I still believe in you. I think you dope, like for sure. But something has to be shown because these teams around the league just aren't really high on him right now.
That, I think you raise an interesting point, and it's something else that Gavoni talked about in his mock draft. That's going to do it, by the way, for those of you watching on our streaming services. If you want that bonus coverage, just head to allchgo.com for the overtime.
Cussing.
So in Gavoni's post-Combine Week mock draft for ESPN.com, talking about the Sixers and what they're going to do at 3, he said the following: the feedback coming out of Chicago suggests Ace Bailey is somewhat polarizing in internal front office conversations because of questions about his feel for the game and, quote, unpolished team interviews, which one NBA general manager compared to Anthony Edwards' respective interviews during the pre-draft process. Minnesota drafted him number 1 in 2020. Bailey hasn't come off as, quote, buttoned up as some of his lottery peers, but drew strong marks from a handful of executives who appreciated his candor and willingness to display his big personality. So that's just Gavoni relaying what he heard. Okay. I will say, personally, I don't love when we hear terms like unpolished versus buttoned up when you're talking about young athletes about their way into the pros.
Yep.
I think there's a certain level of dog whistliness to that that I don't like. But just to bring up the fact that whether or not it's right, and we might not think it is something that is being talked about with Ace right now.
It is, and it's hurting him. And it's really hurting his draft stock. And again, he didn't have a great combine either. And now I'll focus on that. Like, he didn't have a super, awe-inspiring, oh, you're the man, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing happen. And it wasn't really discussed or talked about. But, yeah, man, that stuff, when it comes to interviews, honestly, that stuff comes up with black players more than anything. In football, basketball, whatever sport. That comes up with them. You just saw it with Shedeur Sanders. You just saw it. I don't know. I don't know. Don't like the cut of his jib. I don't know if he can play. Fuck out of here.
Somewhere Phil Jackson says, what's his posse like?
You know what I mean? Right. Exactly.
How many are in his posse?
In his posse, his gang guys.
Phil, I don't think you could say that.
Yeah,
man.
Phil, hey, back to Montana. All right?
Yeah.
Go get that ayahuasca tea.
Did you hear Phil Jackson's latest take?
I did not.
That the NBA should not play games on Christmas because it's disrespectful to Christmas.
But she said Jesus, that's awesome.
That's what he meant, yeah.
It's, all right. all right. It's Christmas. No, I'm not going to do it. Oh, okay.
Take a nap, old man.
Dude, it just hurts Ace Bailey. It's all I'm saying. All this stuff is hating him. Why? And when stuff like this starts coming, I remember when Cam Newton went through this stuff. I remember when Deion Sanders went through this stuff. I remember when Randy Moss went through this stuff. All these great players, Warren Sapp, like all these awesome football players and basketball players who have all had to deal with this kind of bullshit that comes out about these guys, and it has nothing to do with the game.
Right.
And why does that hurt your stock?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anthony Edwards, that's the best point possible. Oh, man, I didn't really like, the way he talked or anything like that. Cool. We're taking him number 1.
Right.
Because he put the ball into the basket at a very high damn clip.
And now
that is the job.
Right.
Is to do that. Damn the personality. You can deal with that and make trades and other stuff down the line, Matt. But this is supposed to be talent evaluated. That's what it's supposed to be. What does the talent tell you? What does that say? If we want to have that conversation about Ace, cool. Just don't like the way a dude talk? Come on, man. What we doing?
And now you look fast forward from when he was drafted number 1 overall in the 2020 drafts. Anthony Edwards, for the second straight year, has led his team to the Western Conference Finals.
He's the face of the league.
In the West.
Yeah.
And he might say, face of the league, do I want to be that or not? I don't, it's like what love or what positive things do I get for being the face of the league when mostly it's a lot of scrutiny or whatever. But I also think there is a large portion of people who are diehard NBA fans who love Anthony Edwards vibes.
Yeah.
The trash talking, the big mouth,
exactly.
and the performative element of his character.
The bravado.
It's the character he played in Adam Sandler's movie.
Yes.
He played himself.
Oh, my God.
And people loved it. I loved it.
It was great.
The NBA is, I think, still missed. There's not enough of that in the NBA.
Agreed.
So that is something that could be misunderstood for a young player entering the league when he's being scouted.
It's 19.
Yeah, and just to be perfectly clear, and in case anybody was confused, those are not the questions I have about Ace Bailey.
Yes, exactly.
Like you were saying, my questions about Ace Bailey are about his game.
Right.
How it will translate to the NBA and where he is right now.
Yeah.
Like, contribution-wise versus project-wise.
Exactly.
His shot selection.
Right.
Some of those elements of his game is what I have questions about. Mm-hmm. So, does Philly have those same questions? Will it lead them to actually trade this number 3 pick?
I'll give you another example, just recent. Modest Buzelis.
Yeah.
Who's more cocky and confident than Modest Buzelis? It did what he dropped had to do with his 3-point shot.
Yeah.
That's what you kept hearing. Mm-hmm. You didn't hear any of them say, "Oh man, he's brash and he's just in my face," and I don't really like that. No, they loved it. Like I love it. I love it. It's great because it's who he is. But it didn't deter teams from saying they want to take him. What deterred them was they didn't believe in his shooting. That's what deterred them. Not anything that he said to them and to the board or any crap like that. That's all I'm saying. It's a double standard out here.
So look, we've got a month or so to find out if the Bulls are going to get frisky.
Yeah.
With that number 12 pick and maybe move up. I also
like frisky.
We could talk about this too. I think I just saw somebody talking about it in the comments. Maybe this is a draft class where really, and again, not that this is something that AK thinks is important, but taking one first-round pick and turning it into a couple.
It can happen.
Take yourself a 12 and say, hey, we're sort of late lottery. Maybe there's a name on the board that some team or a couple of teams are enamored with that we like, but we also like a couple other names that are going to be on the board in 5 picks from now, in 8 picks from now. Maybe take that 12 pick and turn it into 19 and 25 or whatever.
Yeah, that's why AK likes drafting anyway. He likes drafting in the middle, doing his thing down there. So there are moves that you can make to help improve your team in this draft. And the Bulls should be doing everything possible to do that.
So to round it out, yes, I think the Bulls should listen to offers for Coby White this offseason because you got a real hard decision to make otherwise about paying him.
Yeah, man.
And that is, again, nothing about this is me saying I don't respect what Coby White has done.
Coby. Are you kidding?
And what he is in his league. It's just a reality of the situation.
That's it.
So I think there's a way that maybe you can find a deal for him that doesn't necessarily involve making a trade on or leading up to draft night.
Yeah. And
giving up an asset to move up in this draft class.
Yeah.
And maybe getting something else in a Coby White trade. Before we get out of here, Katie, what are the results of the poll about the refreshing beverages on a round of golf? By the way, grab yourself a ticket to our CHGO.
That was the poll.
Second annual Cookout Classic.
That's another beverage poll. I like it.
Yeah, we've done a lot of beverage polls lately.
I like beverage polls. We got a lot of opinions about beverages.
This is true.
This one was what's the best beverage for golfing or mini golfing, or somebody in the comments mentioned disc golfing, which I forgot.
Oh, heck yeah.
What is disc golfing?
Frisbee golf. You know what I like to do.
Thank you. All right.
The winner, it was close.
Little 24 ounce tall boy goes great in a paper bag with some Frisbee golf.
Shout out Joe Costanza.
Hey.
The winner, it was close, but the winner was beer.
Hey,
water.
I voted for beer.
Water
was second.
Let's go.
Stay hydrated.
Lemonade/soda was third, and then all the way at the bottom, liquor/mixed drinks.
I also like a good icy cocktail of some kind would be great on the golf course.
Ooh, I think
you just got to make sure that they're not too heavy of a pour.
Correct.
Because you could drink your light beers all the way through a round.
Yeah.
What was it? What was our old sponsor that had the Foco? Are they the one who had the beer sleeve, or was that somebody else? The one that was tall and narrow and fit in your golf bag?
Yes, I do remember that.
Who was that?
Oh my God. Was that Foco?
I can't remember.
Oh, man, I do remember that.
There might be one of them lying around our office still. I don't know. Or maybe Bragg's probably stole it. And you know what? Good for him. Because you could drink light beers through a round, but if you have a couple of hard mixed drinks in the first few holes, finding that next hole's green might get a little squirrely.
Pins and Aces had one.
Pins and Aces, that's what it was.
Yes.
Shout out to Pins and Aces.
Shout out to them, baby.
It makes sense. They sell golf related products and accessories.
Correct.
So grab yourself a ticket to that CHGO Cookout Classic going on. Village Links out in Glen Ellen. on June 6th, right around the corner. Make yourself a twosome or a foursome with some friends, or sign up a single and get paired with some fun people, including those CHGO hosts who are participating.
They're doing it.
You know what also goes great on a Frisbee golf course?
Tell me.
Not necessarily beverages.
Tell me.
Some Sunnyside products.
Hey!
All right, we are out of here for today. Thank you for hanging out. Hit the like button. Do it now if you haven't done it yet. We are back tomorrow with another fresh episode for y'all, 4 p.m. Central Time. And just got confirmation in the old DM bucket. Special guest tomorrow.
It's happening.
Our pal Adam Amin's going to join the show. Right here in studio with us. The one and only. Yeah. Looking forward to that. We'll chat with Adam, get his thoughts on how the Bulls season ended, what lies ahead for them in the offseason on tomorrow's show. So join us then. In the meantime, read Goat's Die Hard Draft Guide. Sign up to become a Die Hard if you aren't already, so you can. Follow Big Dave Bow, BNWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Our queen of the controls is the one, Katie Duffy. Have a great night. See Red. Be good.
Love y'all. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.